Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight on Mage Hammer's Game Table. So, past 4 or 5 days, I have had one of my top 4 sickness days. Had mono when I was a kid in high school and junior in high school or sophomore. That was horrible. Unfortunately, I ended up with COVID during the pandemic. That was horrible. But this is what I've had for the past several days. Has been rough, but I still wanted to get a video out. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have a little intermission on the game I'm playing, my Cthulhu Dangers game. But I thought this would be a good opportunity. Somebody in the comments was curious about this game, maybe more than a few actually. So I thought that I would introduce this game to you. Now, I've said this before, and I know some people have, they have their opinions on it, but I don't see myself. I'm not calling this a review. I'm just showing you what this game is and giving you some of my thoughts on it. Which, if that's a review, great. If it's not, okay. I've never played this game. That's the other thing. I've never really played it. The system I read the most of the starter set. And the system is very intriguing, and I think some of you might find it interesting and maybe end up using it for your own solo gaming. But I prefer my system, so I probably will never play this system solo, and more than likely, I mean, I'm always leaning towards, if I'm going to do a Cthulhu game, I want to do my Cthulhu game. And I guess technically, if I'm trying to bring beginners into the game, I think my Tiny Cthulhu game is great, Cthulhu Dangers. But I would probably go Tiny Cthulhu because I think that's a little bit easier to introduce people to. However, what I will say, where this particular product, this system, really shines is if you are part of a board gaming club and you want to transfer them over and have them try role-playing, this starter set is an excellent bridge between board gaming and role-playing. And I'll explain why I say just the starter set in a few minutes. So forgive the voice or not, whatever. If you like it, that's fine. But I just didn't have it in me to do the characters. Plus, I didn't want to spend too much time on video. And sometimes my videos can go a little long if I'm gaming in the story and so forth. So I decided to put this out so that I could get out my 2 videos a week. And so here we go. So this is the Arkham Horror role-playing game, The Hungering Abyss, which is a box starter set by Edge Studios. Those of you that remember, I think they're the ones that they are basically Asmodee's in-house RPG company. They came out with the Star Wars role-playing game that Fantasy Flight came out with, but of course that's under the Asmodee. But it was also in conjunction with Edge Studios because Asmodee owns Fantasy Flight and Edge Studios. And so anyway, excuse me. So anyway, this came out a couple years ago, 2 years ago, maybe now, a year ago. I'm not sure. I can look at the date when I get in here. But it borrows heavily. This guy may look familiar. Borrows heavily from the introductory scenario. She looks familiar too. Those of you that are familiar with the Arkham Horror living card game, this is basically the role-playing version of that first scenario. There's some tweaks to it, some twists and turns, but ultimately it's pretty much the same story that you'd play in the introductory product or the box, the starter set of the Arkham Horror living card game. So there you go. This is directly, obviously connected to the Arkham Horror board game, which has spawned several different games. Excuse me. There's Eldritch Horror. There's oh my gosh, the one with the dice. My friend Weezo just played a game and put it on Facebook. Anyway, I can never remember the name. I can never remember the name of it, but I use the dice for different things. Anyway, so it is the Arkham Horror universe, the board game, the living card game, and so forth. All right, so you open the box and you've got this nice, is that called saddle stitched? It's actually got some kind of like cloth in there. The production value is just awesome. So, Hungering Abyss, welcome to Arkham Horror. And it tells you about the adventure. Now, the thing about this box set is it does not give you any character creation rules. And it literally guides you by the hand and teaches you the system. You really don't have much leeway in which direction it goes. Okay, so it breaks it down. You follow Act 1, and you pretty much follow it as it tells you how to play. It teaches you about the dice pool and all that stuff. So while we're here, so the dice pool system here, everybody has 6 dice, including the creatures that you end up encountering and the cultists and the NPCs. And then you can choose, during a scene, you can choose how many different dice you want to roll. There's narrative scenes and structured scenes. Yeah. And so you can decide how many dice you want to roll if you want. Like, so in a narrative scene, if you're looking for something, trying to sense something, whatever, and you need to use one of your skills. Let's look at Joe Diamond here. You need to use one of your skills. You see, they give you these nice character card to fold out. You can literally set your dice here. It's one of the reasons I said this is a very board gamey thing. So if he's got wits and knowledge, so that means on wits, he's got to roll a 4+ on a die to get a success. And for knowledge, it'd be 6+. Melee combat, if he's attacking somebody, 5+, and so forth. Then you have these knacks, which are kind of like feats that from 5e that kind of that give you special ways to manipulate things. There's also anyway, so let's say he wants to try to find something, or he's trying to decide whether somebody's lying to him or not. Let's say you use wits. He decides, I really need to know if this person's lying or not. So he'll take 3 of his dice and roll them to get 1 4. If he gets 1 4 on those 3 dice, fine. But the problem is you set those aside. Also, during combat, these 6 dice become your life total. So that's not great. And if it goes down to 0, you get an injury. And then also, if you run into horror, just like any Call of Cthulhu kind of game or Arkham Horror kind of game, you have to, go against sanity or whatever. In my game, I call it mental trauma, whatever. If you fail, you get one of these dice becomes a green dice. You still have the 6 dice, but if that green die comes up a certain number or fails or is a 1 or something, then something else bad happens to you. So, or like mentally, and then you have to deal with that. But the presentation of the game is cool, but that's basically the dice mechanic. And then let's say, so you spend those dice and then like you move into another scene, boom, the dice refresh. They refresh at every structured scene. And every change of scene, they refresh, if I'm remembering correctly. So this is the adventure book, and it basically walks you, the game master, through the scenario, and you're taking your players through it, and that explains everything. Then it has these pre-generated characters. It has great, amazing player handouts, right? And then here's another character, William York, the Gravedigger. Those of you familiar with the Arkham Horror universe, you should Rita Young. She's cool. I think she likes. She got melee combat 4, so she's like I don't want to say a monk, but I think she's like kind of a martial artist kind of person. But she's also a student at the economics. She's an economics student at Arkham University. Carolyn Fern, I believe she's a psychologist in their world. Daisy Walker, she's a research assistant / librarian. And so those are the characters that you can choose from. And they have amazing handouts. Now, as you know from my game I'm playing, if you've been following along, this is a map from one of the adventures, and this is the flip side from another adventure in that same book. They have really well done maps. So they give you quote-unquote battle maps for each scene, and they have these, we'll talk about that in a minute, but they give you battle maps for each scene. So one of the reasons I bought this starter set was because I'm always looking for more 1920-ish kind of battle mats and stuff that I can put down on the table, like my Mansions of Madness tiles, to kind of give me extra variety for doing my pulp games. So, and here's one that can be used for a fantasy game or a pulp game. So all of these locations detailed in the game are here. The handouts are just amazing. Then there's tokens. So once again, the board gaminess of it, they're not necessarily required. They just help. And these tokens, there's your sanity tokens and so forth. And these tokens all do different things in the game. And so you can punch those out and have them, especially for board gamey type people who like to have a lot of bits and bobs. they've got them. Then they have like little character, what do you call these things? Character circles. Anyway, so these are kind of like a less cool version of Tabletop Wanderers. Tokens, is that the word I want? Tokens, I guess. Yeah, so tokens. So all the tokens that are required here in the NPCs and opponents in this box set are there for you. Then they have these two puzzle, they have a two sliding puzzle thing, which many people on the internet that have reviewed this game do not like. But I think it's in there as a nice bridge between board game puzzlers and then introducing people to RPGs. So it's one of the reasons I think they're in there. The other is I think they need to have puzzles. And I think there was a lot of puzzles in Mansions of Madness too. So I think they're kind of tuning into that. But this, you can have them do the puzzle, or you can just have them make rolls, skill rolls to get what they need. Now, this is the other thing. Look at this GM screen. It comes with a GM screen. I mean, that's awesome. And it's, it's solid cardboard. And it's just beautiful, using the art from the game. But, I mean, that alone is awesome. Then it comes with dice, 2 sets of dice. I didn't present these dice there. I opened the one. Did I open these? I did. At one point I opened them. I had to if I looked at them. Oh my goodness. Did I? I did open these. I looked at them. Guess I'll open it again. I must have retaped them because I didn't want them flying everywhere inside the box. So if you'll notice, there's no real rule book. That's just that initial book is the one that just, and these are pretty quality dice, really. So these are for those madness dice I was talking about. Like if you get, if you get them and they roll a 1 after you had some kind of mental trauma, you get them and roll a 1. Even worse things, you'll have a temporary episode. I guess I'll use that word for them. And then these are the regular dice. I can't remember what color they are, but those come with the game. And look at them, it's really cool. Cardboard pouches. I think that's really cool. Then you've got spell cards. It comes with the spell cards. So once again, kind of like bridging that gap between board gamers. So, and also item cards. So spells and items that are in this particular adventure are all here. And these are high quality, solid cards. And you've got yourself some more handouts there too as well that they did, which is just so cool. Such a well done product. I just really love that about it. Like I said, I think the main complaint about this game system, or not system, this starter box, is that it just really didn't give you any kind of leeway as to what to do with the characters or with the story. But that's because it's literally designed to walk you through how to play this game. And these are character handouts. These are just amazing. Just awesome. These are clues and stuff that the players can find during their... Then they have these character cards too. Not only did they have those dossiers I showed you, they also have these character cards. And there's characters. You can put your dice there. They also have them for the enemies. So for the game master... No, these are all, that's what these are. These are all the NPCs and the enemies. These are solid cards with, what is it? They call that thread or cloth, like a cloth finish. Like, it has like the little grooves. I don't know if you can see that in the light. But yeah, these are the enemy cards. And from each scene you get to, I mean, this is an amazing, amazing product. And it comes with this insert box that kind of helps keep everything where it needs to be. I couldn't resist it. I had to get it. I mean, I can use a lot of this stuff in my own adventures if I want to, like I don't even have to play this adventure. I can just pull those maps out. I could do the puzzle if I really wanted to. I can use these cards. May not necessarily help a lot, but it's just really, really cool. Really, really cool product. I could use these tokens for sure, but I tend to use miniatures during my solo play, but and all these tokens and everything. So that is the starter set in a quick look, I guess. So, yes. So I'll put that there, and it comes in a really solid box. So that is the starter set. So you can decide whether that's something you want or not. Veteran role players running for other role players would probably be okay just picking up the core rule book. So here's the core rule book. As with most of their hardcovers from Edge Studios, it seems, it comes with a ribbon, bookmark ribbon, which is wonderful. Let's see how many pages it is. So it's like 252, 55 page, 56 page. Yep. So about 252, 53 pages plus character sheets in the back. And it's just gorgeous. I mean, the production value is gorgeous. It's good, solid paper. Gives you all, it tells you how to create the characters, tells you how to get the quirks together, the classes, because the classes are straight out of the Arkham Horror Living card game, Seekers, Mystics, Hunters, Guardians, oh, even a couple that aren't from the card game, so they add more classes to the game, and the art is just awesome. Some of it, most of it, I would say, is from the card game as well as Arkham Horror, the board game, but some of it I think is original, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, the dynamic pool system is what they call that dice system. But the one thing that's great about this book is it's very pulpy, right? So Arkham Horror Living card game is a pulp approach with the Lovecraft, right? And so I mine this book for, I use it as a source book for my own game, right? Because they have all kinds of equipment, useful items, protective equipment, stuff like that. And I mean, obviously I can convert that to my system very easily. Tools and personal items, transportation around town, how much things cost, all right in the same book. You don't need to buy a separate book to tell you all that stuff in the 1920s. Relics, a bunch of the Elder Sign Amulet, Enchanted Weapon. Just gives me ideas for these that I can easily convert into my own system. Tomes, books. You know, in the back of my Cthulhu Dangers expansion, I said use other books to, you know, go find tomes and all that stuff, because most of it's game agnostic anyway. And that's what, I mean, I got the Necronomicon right here. And this is basically a source book for my own game. It's definitely made it worth buying for me. Then it has a nice layout of Arkham. It talks about Arkham, has a map. So it has notable, you know, it's their campaign, quote unquote, setting of Arkham. But it's got plenty of places for me to base my games wherever I want to, right? Then it goes on to explain the mythos, tones of Arkham Horror, or basically tones of your own game. Then it gets into each of the ancient ones, and it has these nice dossiers, I guess, on each of the ancient ones that are from Lovecraft's literature, fiction. Then it has a bunch of NPCs. You can use this as an idea. Obviously, it's statted out for this game, but that's easily converted to whatever your game of choice. My game of choice, of course, Cthulhu Dangers. Named character profiles, Dr. Henry Armitage, which I believe he is actually in one of Lovecraft's books, stories. Supernatural folks, creatures, monsters, right? Gives you an idea what monsters are out there, with a great picture of every creature. And the art's just, you know, amazing. It's coming from Fantasy Flight Games, Arkham Horror LCG. Then this even has a mini adventure that I may or may not end up running at some point, solo, maybe on screen. Tear It to TikTok Club. And so, I mean, it pretty much has everything you need in a core rule book. And it's a complete game in one book. And you know, I'm a huge fan of that. I like having my creatures. I like having my opponents. I like having spells. All the stuff. Oh yeah, there's spells in here too, by the way. I don't know if we saw it. Yeah, wait, I don't know if you saw that or not, but there's spells in here too. And the art's just so freaking cool. So that's core rulebook. Then there's two adventures, and the first one you should be familiar with. Adventures of Arkham Mysteries. It comes with 2 maps, and you've seen the quality of what those maps are. There are 2 other adventures in here. Go back to the table of contents. So there's the Ophidian's Nightmare, One for the Road, and the Thrice-Fold Power. So those are 3 little modules all combined together in a hardcover, and look, it's got a ribbon. So as you can tell, if you've been enjoying my video series where I'm playing through the Ophidian's Nightmare, then you have an idea of the quality of the storytelling that they're doing here. Then they have a premium adventure. Make sure that's on camera. Yeah. Premium adventure. Terra Antarctica. Of course. Look at the art on this. Awesome. Now, I pretty much have taken the shrink wrap off this and taken the box lid off once, but I have not really looked through this. So this is almost going to be a Mage Hammer unboxing. So we're going to take the lid off. And look how big this thing is. And it was 60 bucks. I mean, I don't know. That seems like a lot for 60 bucks to me. I thought it was a great value. So... Oh, wait, no, I haven't undone the box. Look, it's still sealed. That's exciting. See if I can find a tool close at hand that could help me cut this open. Well, not cut it open, but you know what I mean. Boy. Yeah. Let's take a look at this together. We're going to unbox this. And this takes place in 1930. No, 1932. 2 years later, people go. You're basically going to find what happened to the first research team. All right, let's see what's in this box. Oh my gosh, it's sealed there too. Sealed on the edges, folks. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about. At least this, you know, like I said, the system I think it's a different kind of system. It's definitely a different kind of system. They could have easily tried to license out and use somebody else's system, but they created their own, and frankly, I think it was the right move to make. And I really think it's kind of a neat concept. I just prefer my own system, I guess. So here we go. Book 1, Reaching the Ice. I don't want to give away too much. This is an adventure, but gives you a component list. There are some mature themes. Tells you what's all in this. So you get your enemy cards, very much like their starter set. Book 2, In the Cyclopean City. Book 3, On the Shores of the Sunless Sea. Now these all have those cloth here, and they're all pretty solid. And the art is just amazing. Ooh, look. Okay, anyway, I didn't want to give away too much. Then there's character sheets. I assume you should be able to play your own characters, but if you don't want to, or you want to take this to a convention or something, they give you several investigators to choose from if you don't want to do your own. And these are all characters from the iconic characters from the Arkham Horror Living Card game. Then another handout, somebody's notebook. Tokens, like we saw in the starter. So many tokens. Looks like they have maybe another puzzle. Okay. All these tokens. I mean, if I came down to it, I could just end up using these tokens. If I didn't prefer to use my miniatures I have, I would probably do that. But that's something I could probably end up using, or just using for the enemies or something. So, player handouts. Then we get to the maps. So I'm going to take those open. Oh my gosh. Dice. More dice. Are you kidding me right now? That's awesome. And then they've got the cards for items and spells and stuff. That is awesome. And then also all of the NPC cards like they did in their starter set. So that is pretty cool. All for 60 bucks. I think that's a huge deal. So this is something I would definitely run for a group, but I would use my Cthulhu Dangers system because my system is easily converted to any system, especially this one because it's very pulp Lovecraft, which I prefer. That's my preferred method of playing Cthulhu games. So anyway, and of course I'd probably have them create their own characters. But if you got somebody who doesn't really like to create characters, there's plenty there for them to choose from. And then 3 really good booklets. So this looks like hours and hours of a good time. So that is my brief overview / unboxing of the Arkham Horror, the role-playing game. Everything that's out for it as of the recording of this video. And as you have seen in the series that I'm currently in, I am really enjoying playing it. And I think many people who are watching it are also enjoying it based on the comments. So if this is something that you might be able to use as a resource, or if you even want to try out the system for itself, I think it might be worth a look. I mean, I definitely love it, and I don't mind spending money on it, even though I'm not going to play their game. I have so many things I can pull from this for my own game that it's worth the money to me. So anyway, that is the Arkham Horror, the role-playing game. And if you have any questions about that, you can leave them in the comments below and let me know what you think. And hopefully by next video after this, my voice will be back and I'll be able to continue the adventures of Gareth Hopewell, Brock Cruduck, and Cassie Emerson. All right, folks, thanks for listening. Until next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Mage Hammer out.